Everyone, it's Naomi and welcome to the Firecracker Aftershow. This is where we pull the core members and then we pull some of the Firecracker Department community members and we talk about our past podcast guests and what they said that might have resonated with us, what they said that might have got us out of our comfort zone or off the couch and into creative action. We have today some of my favorite people. We've got AJ Edmonds, who's in Toronto. She is a performer, writer, editor, je ne sais quoi, je ne sais everything.
Oh.
I don't speak French that well. She also produces the after show and is in charge of our content department. AJ Edmonds. And then we've got Emily Churchill, who's in Los Angeles. She's just the funniest person ever. She's got two women on the bench. Is that what it's called? Bench ladies?
Friends on a Bench.
Friends on a Bench. She's got a great series out right now and also a short film called Stark Raving Actress. And she's also one of the producers of the after show and in charge of the wellness department. And then from our Firecracker Department community, we've got R.L. Reed, who is a musician, an actor, a writer, and a firecracker of all trades. She can do anything. And she's joining us to talk about our guest today, who is Laura Rivas. I'm so excited. I so enjoyed meeting Laura, and I'm sure you did too. Her series, Tiny Laughs, is something that's really getting momentum out there. She's just one of those people that you talk to and you can just hear the passion and the love of what they're doing, and she's just gonna go far. Sometimes in Firecracker Department, we interview people like Kate Cannon, who has a resume that goes on forever. And then somebody like Laura Rivas, who's starting her career a little bit and just developing her resume. And I'm so excited to talk to both of those kind of people on this podcast.
The amazing
Emily, what
thing
resonated for you?
Sorry, I was going to jump in just to say the amazing thing is it doesn't matter where in the journey you are. Our stories are all so similar.
Yeah.
So similar.
There's so much crossover in the things that Kay was saying, to the stuff that Laura was talking about, like there's, artists are like all kind of be the same journey, just in different
Absolutely. Bodies. And you know what? My guests have reflected that before when they're like, oh, I listened to a couple of podcasts to get ready for the interview. And like, it's just, we're doing the same thing. Everybody's on the same sort of journey, just different paths. Emily, what'd you think?
Well, yes, I love the word journey because we're all on a journey. And it's so true. And I loved what you said about staying present in the job now, because it's so true. Like, be on set and I'll be like, okay, I get my job done. I was like, but I gotta book another thing for tomorrow. Like you're always trying to like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing instead of being in the job presently. I think that's so important, and we need to be reminded of that. At least I do.
Hard hustler. She is just somebody that I feel like she's so driven, because she's driven not only for herself creatively. This is my perspective, obviously, but also for her community. Like she feels like the need of having that voice and seeing the purpose with it, which I just absolutely love. Arl, what'd you think?
Well, on the heels of that, I gotta wonder, she attributes so much of herself, her values to her parents and her current and former leading up to successes. It's all to them, so and by her own words, she said she was a late millennial, and I'm thinking, and she likes to talk on the phone, like instead of texting, which is so not the normal for her demographic. So I just I thought that was really beautiful that she gives it all away. She's so intense. She does want to make change.
Yeah.
And she's such a great advocate. I follow her. She's such a great advocate for the diversity programs that are out there, like we hear about them, but at least for me, I have yet to meet or listen to someone talk about the value of them and like how it really did create either a learning opportunity or sort of propel what they were doing. And just talking about her parents, I love that she makes sure to address that though her parents were an immigrant family, they're not the usual story. Like not every immigrant family ends up being house cleaners and construction workers. It's like, I think her mom's an engineer. Like she just owns it in a way that just normalizes pulling from what but also she's just herself, and her family is who they are, and they don't fit a stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something also about recognizing her story. Like I don't think I realized I had a story for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I think it took me a while to realize my story was unique in any way. And I think she already sees the quality of her story, the need for representation within her Latina community, but she knows that that's her story that needs to be told, which I think is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else? Emily?
Well, yeah, I got to bring it up. They came over here. They moved to the U.S. because her dad went and picked up a Firebird. I'm assuming that's a Pontiac Firebird, probably an '87.
I don't think it's a real bird. I don't know if it's real. I don't think
it's
it's
a car. It's a car.
It's a car, AJ. Come on.
Pontiac Firebird, '87, girl.
Here I am imagining just a whole family flying on the back of a Firebird, you know? There goes.
But like,
that's fine.
What family does that? Like, what kind of family changes
I love it.
direction like that? It was like, yeah, how inspiring is that?
Yeah.
It's such a great story to build off of, you know? Like, how do you not become a storyteller when you're from an environment like that? I was like, so we bought a car and we're gonna move.
Yeah.
It was one thing I found it like slightly triggering because I'm not far away from still being in this life, but the like, you work 9 to 5, you come home, you work till midnight, and like you hope that like all of the grants and all of the applications and everything you're going through that you're working to till like the end of your like sleepability. And then you go to set and you ask for favors and you have to hustle and you hope that it leads to something. Like I'm just on the tail end of doing that in my life. And it's so like, it was so real.
I mean,
I was like, oh.
I don't think it's ever going to leave us. Like, I don't think if we want to create, there'll be a time that we don't have to like crack open our piggy banks and call in favors and do projects. If you care that much, like if you care enough to be a creator.
But you do.
Arlie, you know what this is like. Of course you hope that it's going to get easier. Right? Like you hope it's going to get easier and money's going to come in easier, but if not, like, what are you going to do? Say no? Like, what are we all going to say? Oh, I can't create today because I don't have the money for it. We got to keep on creating. I mean, of course, food, shelter, clothing, that's imperative. That's where your money's going to go. If you're broke, I get that. And I've been there, but now like you can't stop the creative train. Arella, you said you're still there.
Do we ever get out of that place where we're totally fine, making all the cash we need, too much cash, too much, don't worry about it, you don't need to pay me. I'm always fighting the battle, the good fight for my fellow musicians, like to be paid, to be valued. No, not after we're dead. Now. We've put the money, the energy, the time in, and we deserve to be compensated for it. The next person
there's a sense in that though. Like there's this very funny, and I think it's a global thing, but I feel it especially in Canada, that arts is a hobby. And I think our government believes it. And and because of that, we've created this kind of culture of hobbyism, which means you don't get paid for your hobbies, even if your hobbies benefit other people. And like, that's why the hustle up here, the US is also a massive hustle. But you know, in Canada, it's like you hustle for like this much money and there isn't any advocacy. Like I would have absolutely, like, I hate saying killed, but like I would have done a lot to get to sit in front of a group of like other women in the arts to talk about what my value is. How much should I charge? Like, what does it look like? Because I'm, even to this day, like I got asked this morning to edit a series of videos for a friend of mine. I was like, no, I'll just do it for free. And they're like, no, you deserve to be paid. And I was like, yeah, but I don't even know. But like, I mean, I'm novice. I don't know what I would have charged. She's like, just charge me something, you know? But like, that's because it's 10 years of me saying yes to a lot of free work and now I'm like, oh my God, how do I value myself? But it's the same, like I advocate for a lot of my friends too, like producers who continuously are hired on jobs and people think that producers don't need to make any money because somewhere down the line we might make all the money. I need to leave.
Meanwhile, there was a publication that came out just the other day and I was throwing it on all my channels about how much money arts brings in. So we're at like $79 billion, something like that in Canada, right? Oh my God, where's our chunk? Where's my piece of the pie?
It's true. Yeah, I loved listening to Laura's her hustle, but also, you know, she was so authentic about what the journey is really like and how lonely it can be, both when you're making it, but when you're also trying to build your community. And I remember that phase at the beginning where I was asking favors from people who I didn't know, and they just had to trust that I wasn't someone that would disappear, you know, like, and I have felt that, like, I so understood what she was talking about, because to be an artist means you have to ask for favors.
Yeah. And that's passion too. Like, you listen to Laura, and she's got like passion for days. If she called me up and said, hey, can you do me this favor? I'm doing this shoot. I'd be like 150%, because I see the passion that you have, and I support that till the cows come home. And money's not important in that sense, because I can see that she's got some sort of vision that I believe in through her eyes. That's for me, when I listening to her and talking with her, I'm just so jazzed by that. Any final thoughts about Laura before we wrap up?
Well, I have to say, when you asked her what a firecracker is, she said it's someone who makes a change. I don't know if you all wrote it down, but I wrote it down. I was like, okay, that's awesome. I hope so.
Yeah. Anything else, AJ? Or else?
I would love to be on set with her. I think that I would just,
I know.
Her excitement for what she's writing and what she's developing just sort of vibrated through your interview.
Yeah. And trying really honestly trying to find balance. Like she mentioned balance a couple of times, and I thought, yeah, so she's realized coming away from her marketing gig that she needs to have more balance, because she was doing the round the clock, as you pointed out, Emily, that she wasn't wouldn't be able to sustain that kind of workload. So I get it, I relate, and my heart goes out to her for that reason. So and
but I'm so on team Laura.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Yeah. Speaking of totally, well, this isn't gonna work.
Okay.
What are you totally doing these days that we can support and love in your own world? Emily, what's going on in your world that we can celebrate?
Well, I'm doing another workshop. I'm going to say this, but after November 3rd, okay, there it is. The pause, we got it. I'm going to do a workshop so that we can all come together and feel good. Whatever happens.
I love it. And don't forget, Emily does a monthly Firecracker Department meditation. And to find out more about that, go to our website and go to our Facebook group and join our social media. But I have to say that your meditations are renowned in the Firecracker Department community as being so fun and so full of joy and light, that you're making a difference there, Miss Churchill.
Oh,
AJ, what do you got going on these days?
I'm heading over to Emily's page to watch Two Ladies on a Bench.
Yes.
Which in my head is like someone has like illegally downloaded Friends on a Bench and renamed it.
Ooh.
And like dubbed it with a new language. And then they tried to translate it to be kind of similar. So Friends on a Bench turned into Two Ladies on a Bench. I'm just saying, they got a spin-off show coming up.
I love that.
I love it. We'll follow all of AJ Edmonds' work, because she's always doing something interesting, and she's a fantastic creator in so many different ways. Oh my goodness. RL, what have you got coming up?
Well, rather than talk about music, I'll say I am building a new profile for my business, which is a B&B here in Stratford called Avon View Manor. www.avonviewmanor.com. I am going to be providing one-stop shopping when it comes to weddings next year, so that I can remain independent of the arts, because we're not sure what's going to happen next season. So I'm going to be hosting weddings on my property, and I will be the wedding officiant. I will be providing the music, and I'll be doing champagne receptions and all the rest of it.
Just a little bit.
That's just I'm doing it again.
I'm coming to the Stratford. Yes, I'm coming.
I'm going to get married again. Same husband. If you haven't seen RL's website, you must go and see her property, though. It is stunning. And if you're thinking about getting married, it would be so glorious. Like in any season, that place is gorgeous.
Yes.
I hope my puppy doesn't poop all over.
Yeah, I have never resonated with someone so much.
All inclusive. It's all inclusive.
It's a full experience.
He will make a great ring bearer, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget to follow all of the Firecracker Department action that's going on at firecrackerdepartment.com. Subscribe. I know you're out there thinking, this is so fun. I want to support this Firecracker Department movement. Well, you can. You can support on social media. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You could comment on our podcast. You could just tell one friend, I heard this really cool after show. That's all. And if you don't, if you didn't have the fun that I think you did, then just keep it to yourself, because really nobody wants to hear about that. Keep it, zip it. Thank you so much for joining us, Firecracker DEPT on Instagram and Twitter. And what a joy to have you here, RL. Thank you so much for having some time with us.
Thank you.
See you next time on the after show, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.